Central New York is getting ready to enter a new phase of reopening. Phase 3 tomorrow. It will impact restaurants, nail salons, tattoo parlors, spas, and more. To talk more about that, we want to welcome back Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul. Thanks so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. And yes, this is a very exciting time for Central New York. You've been waiting a long time to be able to throw in their kitchen apron and stop cooking at home and go out to the restaurants. I know I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, chatting with some of our local leaders, including Oneida County Executive Anthony Picente, he told us, they weren't too happy 2 weeks ago with phase 2, but communication clarity much better this time around for phase 3. The guidelines are already out. That's what they wanted. So what do businesses need to do before they start letting people in the door?
Well, do what they had to do in phase 1, phase 2, and actually phase 2.5. And a lot of the restaurants were given the okay to have outdoor dining. And in that process, they actually had a chance to trial run the opening of the indoor facilities by making sure there's sufficient disinfecting going on the tables, et cetera, and the common surfaces. Even something like menus, we don't want normal plastic menus. We want disposable menus, disposable paper products, so people don't have a lot of time in the kitchen washing dishes. So a lot of thought's been given to making sure that there's masks available for the employees. Test your employees, take their temperatures, 6 feet apart, social distancing, move the tables apart. So there's been a lot involved, but they've had some time to plan for this. So I'm really excited about welcoming the Central New York businesses back again, the restaurants that have been closed, as well as the personal services. And as you know, for the last 2 weeks, we've had retail open, and that was really an important dynamic in many of our downtowns where people have been wanting to go and just shop in the little retail and these different hair salons that are now been open. So we're in a far better place than we were just a few short months ago, even a month ago.
Right, we are in a better place. We're still getting a lot of questions about what else we can do. Summer sports for kids, we're hearing from parents. How soon can we expect to see our kids back out in the ball field, indoor fields, or at the ice rink?
Well, I know as a mother of children who played youth sports how important it is, and we are literally examining this right now. We are very concerned that there was a spread of a different variation of COVID-19 that was affecting children. And we had been told initially that children would not be affected by this, and then we start having cases where a number of children in our state actually died from this. So we want to make sure we get it right, not just on emotion when we want to open, but when the health medical experts tell us it's okay. We did open up pools and playgrounds subject to local jurisdictions. If they determine it's safe and they can create a safe environment, we can now open those. So I will assure you that the conversations about youth sports are ongoing right now, and we'll be letting people know the status as soon as we're able to.
All right. Here's another status we're wondering about. Usually at this time, we'd be counting down to the days of the Great New York State Fair. When's the fair? Going to find out whether or not we're going to get a green light, and when can we expect that call to be made? It's a big one.
Something like the fair, and I love the fair. I go every single year many times, and so it's one of my, especially when I was a Syracuse University student, and boy, this fair has come a long way. It is an extraordinary experience, so I really hope we can see what happens there. But this would be more of a phase 4 activity. As you know, Central New York starts tomorrow with phase 3, but we're going to take the time to monitor the possibility of an increase in spread. And I want to caution everyone, while our numbers are phenomenal, and I thank New Yorkers for wearing their masks and social distancing, look at what's happening in other states. 21 states are now seeing some of the highest recorded positive cases. Hospitals are becoming overflow with individuals seeking ICUs, and all the things that we went through in the early stages and have struggled and sacrificed so much to get out of. We do not want a setback. That would be hard for our economy. It'd be demoralizing for us as citizens. And so I have to just plead with everyone, just because you can go to a restaurant, don't get casual in large gatherings. And if you're out there protesting, we have called on every protester, wear a mask and get tested afterward, because this is a setting where there could be spread if someone tests positive or would test positive but don't even know they have the symptoms. And that's what's so dangerous about this virus, is that you can be contaminating other people that you love or your friends and people you're protesting with without even you knowing you have the symptoms.
All right, too soon to make that call on the fair. We understand that. How about this? New York State, $61 billion in the hole in terms of revenue loss because of the coronavirus. Money used to fund schools and programs people rely on. How do you make up for that kind of a loss?
This is brutal. I mean, this is why we are asking the federal government to treat what happened to New York as part of a federal declaration of disaster, that if we had had a major hurricane that wiped out this much money from our state and cost this much to address it, that we would actually be getting money from the federal government. So we're calling on our federal leaders, particularly in the Senate, because the House passed a bill that would help not just the states, but the local governments. Look at the city of Syracuse and the county of Onondaga. The budget cuts they're going to have to endure because of what's going on, the loss of revenues coming into their coffers. So this is a problem that's going to affect every municipality in the state of New York, and we want to make sure that the federal government hears our pleas, responds, and then we'll be able to address it. If that does not happen, this is going to be a very dark time in our state in terms of having the money to be able to continue funding the reinvestment in downtowns like Syracuse and the revitalization of many communities throughout upstate New York and all the hard work we've done to bring back these areas. So we have a lot of challenges ahead of us, and just really continue praying that the federal government will give us a lifeline. If that does not occur, the governor will have to work with our budget director, the legislature, and find out what areas will have to be cut.
We always appreciate you taking time out for us. Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul, thank you.